Glory be to God, Mighty God Ministries, episode 23, Health and Wellness. And what we're going to do with this in this one is we're going to show some different snacks. One of the one is we're going to show one snack, but it's just another good snack that you can do that's very helpful. You can make some different changes on it, but essentially it's very basic. You will need an air popper, obviously, to do it this way. There's other ways you can do it, like on the pan, but like right here, essentially, this is a great snack. And this right here is Humphrey's popcorn seeds. They're out of where are they out of? Cleveland, Ohio. So out of Cleveland, Ohio, and you could buy these anywhere. You can get any type of seeds. But the cool thing about popcorn is that popcorn is very filling. You can eat a lot of it, and it is very filling. The only catch to popcorn is it's like everything else. It's the same as chips. You know, you have to figure out, are you willing to sacrifice some time, your time for better health? If you are, then there's an easy solution, and that's to do it. A lot of this stuff is the old school way, and then they came out with the new school way, which is the quick and easy way. And a lot of times when we go the quick and easy way, then we are giving up time, right, for less healthy, essentially. And we can tell it's less healthy. Why? Because all we have to do is look on the boxes, right? And we all know it. So if you want to give up, again, if you want to be healthier, but give up a little bit of time, this is one of the ways you can do it. And how we compare this is we could look at the bag, and if we just take regular popcorn kernels that are literally off in Cleveland, probably from a farm, and we look at the ingredients, it says, the ingredients are essentially corn. That's the only ingredient on there. It literally says corn. And then if we look at the calories, it's 70 calories for 1/8 cup. There's 8 servings per container. Obviously 1 gram of fat, so there's very little fat in this. Dietary fiber, there's 0 sugars, and sodium 0 milligrams. So this is like, eating nothing. It's going to give you some carbs, but it's like eating nothing. It's only 70 calories. So you could do 2 servings of that, and it's not going to hurt you. Where what most of us do, and we do this too, so I'm not saying this is bad, but I'm just saying, again, if you have time, there's a way to eat healthier. And when you don't have time, you can do this, but this is probably not the better option. And we have these because we do this. But if I have the choice and I have the time, I'm going to pick these. And I'm going to show you how to do that later. But if I take this one, and this is Orville Redenbacher, and again, it could be any brand. I'm just putting this one because we have it. We look at this. What are the ingredients? Whole grain popping corn, palm oil, salt, natural flavors, including milk, mixed tocopherols. I don't even know how to say that word, so I don't know what that is. Vitamin E for freshness, okay, and color added annatto or whatever that, and it contains milk. And then same thing, if we look at the per serving, this is 170 calories. You have total fat is 11 grams, whereas this is 1 gram of fat. You have all these other fats, polysaturated, monosaturated fat, and then your sodium is 400 milligrams. So again, this sodium in this corn right here, it's zero milligrams. This is 400 per serving, essentially. So, that's the sodium is going to be salt, and that's what's going to retain water. So again, this is not horrible for you. Occasionally, this is okay, but you don't want to have this all the time. And if you have the option, and if you do it the way we're going to do it in the video, you're going to see it is the healthier option, And I'm going to show you a couple other options too. Let's say you don't have time, right? Again, same thing. Let's say we took a look at this, right? This is Smart Food, what is this? White cheddar popcorn. And this is good, But again, we look at it, you're getting 2.5 cups of the serving. You have 160 calories compared to this is 70. You have 200 milligrams of sodium and proteins 2 grams. But again, let's look at the ingredients. Popcorn, vegetable oil, corn, canola, and or sunflower, natural flavors, whey, maltodextrin made from corn, buttermilk, cheddar cheese, milk cheese culture, salt, enzymes, and salt. Okay, so again, and again, this, so this is not, again, it's not horrible for you, but if you have the time, if we look at the ingredients, obviously, again, if we have to list off, there's 7 or 8 ingredients, then how is this able to say just corn, right? This is just corn, and that has 10 ingredients on it, right? Like, it just goes to show you. Let's do another one. And this one, actually, I think this is better than a lot of them. This is that Skinny Pop popcorn. I actually think this is probably a little bit better than the other choices. Again, it's all what you want, though. But this is 160 calories for 3 1/4 cups. So this is actually probably better because you're actually getting a lot larger serving for your calories. The sodium is 100 milligrams, which is definitely better than 400 or 200. And the ingredients on this are popcorn, sunflower oil, rice flour, salt, yeast extract, natural flavor, lactic acid. So again, it's definitely less ingredients. Again, this is probably something to eat like if you want something quick and easy and it's going to work. But if you actually want to eat a little bit healthier and put less of the stuff, then this is the way to go. And we're going to go ahead and make it. So you do need to do this. You do need a air popper, or you could do it like with the pan. But essentially, we're going to take this. And I'm going to have to I'm going to have to give you a little rotation here. We're going to take a little ride, and we're going to go like that. That should be able to see enough. So essentially what you're going to do now is you're going to plug your air popper in, or you could use a pan and go old school. And then essentially you're going to have a couple of different items. One is you're going to have your lid, pretty basic, that you're going to put on top. And this is going to be your measuring cup. Your measuring cup is where you're going to put in your popcorn corners, and you're going to put it like this. And then all you have to do is pop this on top, push this back, and then what we'll need to do is we'll need to heat this up essentially for about 3 minutes. So that'll heat up for about 3 minutes. And then the next step, what we'll do is we'll take our popcorn kernels, we'll put them in the bag, or put them in the container from the bag. And then I'm going to show you a couple little ideas that also you can do, and it will add some flavor to it. And again, it's all dependent on what you're looking to do. So right now, what you can do is you can measure it out, or you can just go like this. And again, I'm just gonna fill the cup up. I'm not gonna go too crazy because I know this right here, that's basically 1/4 measuring cup, and that's gonna make a lot of popcorn. I actually normally don't do that much, but essentially you can see you're gonna pop that in there. And then what we're gonna do is we need to set a timer, normally on your phone, or we'll say it's 11:24. So we're gonna turn this on, and then we're gonna say it's 11:25, and we have 3 minutes to go. So that's gonna preheat it. And once we start to preheat, then what we'll do next is we'll take our kernels here, and once it's preheated after 3 minutes, or when we're on 11:28, right? Then we're going to pop these in, and we're going to start popping. And it does take a little bit of time. So while that's happening, we're going to get our bowl ready, pop it right there, get that ready to go. And then the next thing we can do is I'm going to add a little bit of a treat to mine. So I'll do that at the end. But you can also do butter. You can do salt, but you have to watch out with the salt. Obviously, that's where you get all the sodium. So if you do salt, try not to do crank about 30 pounds of salt on there, because then you're gonna defeat the purpose. Same thing with butter. If you do butter, just don't try not to put a ton of butter on it. But I'm going to show you a trick that your calorie content's going to be still low, and it's going to be decent. Again, it's not the best. I wouldn't say do it every time you have this. But it's a cool thing to do, and it tastes really good, and it's one of the things that I like to do occasionally. So I'm going to get prepped for that, and we don't even need a cutting board, but I'm going to grab one just so I have it. So I'm going to get that ready there, and then we got another 3 minutes to go. So we're going to wait for there. And what I like to do, and again, this is not all the time, I like to take Hershey Kisses. Again, they're chocolate. It's not the best for you, but occasionally, if I'm going to eat, when I have popcorn, I'll either do it plain or with a little bit of salt and butter. But occasionally, I'll do this, and I'll throw in some Hershey Kisses. And what you could do is you could take essentially 7. Whoa, we went flying over there. That one went flying across the floor. What you could do is you could take 7 Hershey Kisses, and 7 Hershey Kisses equal 160 calories. Okay, you're going to have a little bit of fat content. Again, this is not great for you, but if you want to have a treat, it's good to have a good treat. So what you do is you unwrap 7. Sometimes I'll do 2, or just, but this time, since I'm making a big bowl, and I'm obviously not going to eat the whole thing, if you were making a bigger bowl, you would go ahead and wrap all 7. And again, that's going to be 160 calories. So it's not too bad. So the whole thing would be still under 200. So you'd be about maybe maybe not 200, but it'd be about 220, give or take. So we're at 11:27. So we're gonna wait a couple more seconds here.
And if you eat the popcorn with just a little bit of salt and butter, you literally can eat a ton of it, and it's not even going to make a difference. Like, it literally is not going to affect you at all, just because the calorie content's 70 calories. So you could eat the whole thing, and it's not going to make a difference. So we are at 11:28, so it should be heated up now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop these in slowly. And you're just going to pop them in like that. Then you're going to put this lid on like that. Then you're going to wait for them to pop. And it's going to take a little bit of time. But you're going to start hearing them. Once it gets ready, you're going to start popping up. Now, you're going to have some that are going to fall on the floor. They're not going to go in the bowl. That's okay. So basically just pick them up. But be careful, because the kernels, they get super hot. So if they fall on the ground, you're better off just don't touch them. But you can do that where you essentially pick them up, throw them back in. I've done that before. But again, if I was doing it like right now, I'm not going to eat the whole thing. I'm just going to eat a little bit of it. But this is just another thing like the apple chips, where you could have this when you're watching a movie or something. Again, it's going to take you, 3 minutes to heat it up, and however long it takes to pop. Let's say it's another 3 minutes. You're still talking 6-7 minutes total. So it's not as convenient as grabbing the bag, obviously. But then again, if you're willing to give up, 7 to 10 minutes, you're going to have a healthy snack that you can eat a ton of. And again, the calorie content is based off the whole bowl. So when I say 70 calories, that's if I eat the whole bowl. That's a lot. And you're going to see that in a second. So let's go. I'm going to hold this up. You don't have to do this. You can just let it sit down like this. But I like to hold it like this just to catch it. But you could go like that. Then it's going to start coming out here. You're going to see it's popping. There we go. We're flying now. We're cooking with gas. Yeah, there we go. I'm just going to do a little catch there. And there's probably still a couple more kernels that are sitting in there that I could sit here and wait to pop, or I could just shut it off and be like, I'm not doing that. So I'm going to give it a couple more seconds. And I'm going to grab the ones that fell on the ground. Normally I would say not do this, but I'm going to give a 5-second rule because it's just me, so I'm not worried about it. And then there's still a couple more kernels in there, but essentially I'm done. The next thing you're going to want to do is unplug it. Do not touch it, because obviously that's going to be super hot right now, so do not touch it. And then we're going to go ahead and we're just going to do a little flip here, and we're going to give it a little detour. So right now you can see this is a massive bowl. This is a pretty big bowl here, and that thing's filled to the top. So now you have all this popcorn. And then now the cool thing, what you could do is you have all the popcorn right here, but what we could do is we could take our Hershey Kisses. And again, this whole bowl, 70 calories. So if you just take this right now and you say, okay, let me put a little bit of salt. Again, we're not going to kill it in salt. And I'll be honest, normally I don't even do salt, but I'm just going to do it like that. That's all I need. Or the other option is you could put butter on it. So you could do your butter now. You could do any other topping that you like with popcorn. A lot of times if you're doing something, again, because this is so healthy, it's 70 calories and has nothing, again, it said just corn. The only ingredient is corn, which so it's good. So you can eat it like that, and it's not bad. Now, is it going to have the flavor of all the butter and salt? No, it's not going to be like that. So what I like to do with this is you can either take butter and melt some butter and put it on there. Okay, that's one option, which I've done that multiple times, and that's very enjoyable. The other option is, and sometimes I do that, is where I'll do chocolate, and I'll melt the chocolate in the microwave, and then I'll sprinkle it on. That's really good, but you have to put parchment paper down. It sticks. It's very time consuming. So I like this trick right here. And this is literally just taking Hershey Kisses, and I'm just like cutting them up. And you can use any chocolate, but I know that 7 Hershey Kisses are essentially 160 calories. And again, is it the best? No, you don't want to do this every time. But if you cut these up like this, essentially like you're cutting up, little, like I call them chocolate flakes. Chocolate flakes essentially is what they are. And obviously when you have the popcorn, And again, you could cut these up different sizes. I like them a little bit smaller, but you can do it however you want. If you want it like flaked up, you could do the same thing I showed you the one time, and you could take a cheese grater essentially, and you could flake them over the chocolate. If you want just more or less. But what I do with this is a lot of times I'll take a spoon, and instead of eating it like normally you would eat popcorn, you eat it with your hands. I'll take a spoon and I'll actually eat it like that. And I'll let, and I like the chunks of chocolate, essentially that mix in with the popcorn. And again, you don't have to do this. You can just do right now, like you could eat it plain. If you do eat it plain right now, obviously it's just corn, so it's not going to be like, super flavorful. You add a little bit of salt and a little bit of butter. And the butter is as simple as, you take whatever butter you like, melt it in the microwave, or you could do it in a pan, but you melt it in the microwave, essentially take 30 seconds or something like that. And then what you do is you just drizzle it on, you know. But again, sparingly. Same thing. If you're the only one eating this, and you're going to want to watch out, because if you do too much butter, then your calorie count's going to go up. And again, you could still do a ton of butter, but buy some decent butter. Don't buy like the junk butter. Buy some decent butter. And again, this would still be like, even if you like coated the whole thing in butter, it would still be under, a couple hundred calories if you did that. But this is a little trick here. And there's different things you could do with this, but this is one way I'll do it. So again, what I'm doing is I have my popcorn, and I just do this. I'm just going to flake this in like this. I'm just going to flake it in like that. You can mix it up if you want to do that, or you can put anything else, because obviously there's so many different things you can do in popcorn, different toppings. Again, if you like, and I'm going more, this is more like a sort of dessert. Now, it could be a snack also, but if you like M&Ms, you could throw M&Ms in this. You could throw anything you want, but you can see right there, I just have it sort of mix up. And then if you just shake it up, whether you use your hands or whatever else, again, normally I wouldn't do that, but I'm the only one eating this, so it doesn't matter. And I'm obviously not going to eat the whole bowl in one sitting, but you could. You could eat this whole bowl right here, which is this is going to fill you up. It's going to fill you up to the max. And if you eat this whole bowl right here, again, it's going to fill you up to the max. And you're going to be, what do we got here? We said the popcorn was 70 calories, 7 Hershey Kisses are 160. So you're at 230 calories here. And what I like to do is I like to spoon it out. So like you can see like this, you get the chocolate. So you can't see it perfectly, but see those big chunks of chocolate right there. And then what's going to happen is that mixes up perfect. And what I found out about this is, the great thing about it, although I like to have my water when I'm doing it, the great thing about it, who knows, maybe I'll eat the whole bowl of popcorn. Because again, like I said, 230 calories, that's nothing. That's nothing for a snack. And this is going to fill me up. This is going to fill me up. Now, when you do the chocolate, depending on how you put it up, depending on how big the bowl is, it might be at the bottom. So you might have to scoop it up like this. And I have that big chunk. Yeah, that's delicious. Because now you have the popcorn, which is like plain, super healthy, crunchy, and you have that chocolate mixing into it. So this is a great snack. Again, you can add whatever you want, whether you add, chocolate, you could add M&Ms too. Obviously, you got to watch out, but you could do that. But let's say you count the calories up, you have 70 calories. That gives you a lot of room to work with. You could do a package of M&M, which is like, I don't know if they're 120 or 200 calories, something like that. And again, you'd still be at under 300, or any other topping. Let's say you're going bad. Okay, again, I don't normally do this, but occasionally I will, but I normally don't, because it's just, I'm not a huge fan of it. And I'm not a huge fan of this, but this is all we have is Hershey syrup. Again, is this good for you? No, probably not that great for you. Why? Because let's read the ingredients. High fructose corn syrup, water, cocoa, potassium sorbate, salt, xanthan gum, monoglyceride, polysorbate, 60, vanilla, artificial flavoner. If we have to read off 20 ingredients, then it's probably not that great for you. But you could take this, sprinkle some on, and it's going to taste good. Or you could take the other one that I like better than Hershey's, and Hershey's is good, but the other one that I'll occasionally use, and I don't do it in popcorn that much, but occasionally I'll do it, but I use it on like dessert shells and stuff, it's called, I think it's Torani. I think it's called Torani. You can get it at Walmart. I've seen it at Walmart. I don't know if it's other places. And they have a caramel one and a chocolate one. And the ingredients are pretty down to earth. Now, it's not perfect, but it's down to earth. So another thing, like I said, chocolate. I call this popcorn chocolate. It's a good thing, but you could put any type of ingredient on it. And because the calories are so low, you have so much room to work with this. And again, I'm probably this is going to take me a hot second to eat this, but that's all. Look how big the bowl is. Whereas if I take one of those other ones in there, I think the serving was like 1 cup or something like that. So if I take 1 cup of that popcorn or whatever else I showed you, 1 cup is this. So you could see that's like a little bit of the bowl when I got the whole bowl. The only one that gave you a bigger serving that was decent was that Skinny Pop popcorn, and that was I think 2 cups. So again, 2 cups. Maybe you have like if we're doing 2 cups, look at the bowl. 1, 2. You're still not getting this massive amount like this, right? But I would say that the Skinny Pop, if you're going to do it, or if I was going to do something and mix it, I would probably do the Skinny Pop. So I'm going to cut this one off, but just another good snack. If you have the time and you have the funds, buy an air popper. It's a fun thing to do. You can do it with your family. It adds a little bit of a little entertainment also because it's just something to do. Instead of doing the normal thing. And I get it. The microwave, boom, boom, boom. It's quick and easy. I get that. It's okay to do that occasionally, but if you want to give up time for health, this is your option. And if you like to eat, because I love to eat, I love to eat. That is just one of the things I've always loved to eat my whole life. So if I want to eat, that's a lot of food to eat right here that I'm getting. And again, the calorie content's low. So this channel is to glorify God. So if you're not saved or you don't even know what that is, that's okay. Just click the more button in the description there. Read that salvation prayer out loud. That will start your journey with Jesus. It will be the best thing you've ever done in your life. And the Holy Spirit will guide you. So I don't even have to say, go to this, go to that, go to this church, because I know He'll make a way where it seems to be no way. That's what He does. That is His job. And He'll guide you where you need to go. So God bless you, and we'll see you in the next one.